Every model home in Leander right now has the same sign in the window. 4.99%, 40,000 in free upgrades. And it looks incredible, especially when the rate on a resale home down the street is sitting up in the sixes. But before you sign anything in that design center, I want to show you the math the flyer in the lobby probably leaves out. Because that 4.99 is real, but it almost never means what you think it means. Today I'm breaking down builder rate incentives that actually work in Austin new construction in 2026. Where the catch is hiding and the exact questions to ask so you can genuinely get a great deal when you're looking for one. I'm Jeff Joseph, a realtor with ERA experts here in the Austin area. I walk buyers through builder incentives just about every week in Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, and the general Austin area. And I'll tell you right now, I am not anti-builder. Some of these deals are fantastic, but the buyers who win are the ones that walk into that sales office with a plan instead of walking in and falling for the sign. By the end of the video, you'll be one of those buyers. So let's start with why these incentives even exist right now, because that context really matters. New construction is a huge chunk of the market at the moment. Roughly a third of all the active inventory in the Austin market is new construction. Builders have a lot of standing homes that they want to move right now. And here's the thing you need to understand about how they think. A builder will almost always spend money on an incentive before they'll cut the base price. Why? Because if they drop the base price on your house, that becomes a comp. It drags down the value of every other property in that community, including the ones they haven't sold yet. That's the most important part. But an incentive, that moves your house without touching the official price. So all that money you're seeing, the rate buy downs, the upgrade credits, it's coming out of their marketing budget, not off the sticker. Keep that in mind, because it tells you where the real negotiating room is. Now let's talk about that 4.99 rate, because this is where most people get tripped up. There are actually two completely different things a builder might mean when they advertise a low rate. And the differences they're enormous. The first kind is a temporary buy down. You'll hear it called a 2-1 buy down, a 3-2-1 buy down, a 1 buy down, any number of combination of those. Here's how that all works. Your rate is knocked down by 2% in the first year, then 1% in the second year, and then in year 3, it snaps back to the full rate that you were qualified at for the rest of the loan. So that dreamy 4.99% you saw in the sign, that might only be your year 1 payment percentage. And in year 2, it may climb to 5.99. And by year 3, it may be up to your qualified rate, which could be closer to 6.5 or 7% for the next 28 years. Nobody's hiding this. It's all in the paperwork. But if you build your budget around the first year, then that jump in year 3 can feel like a punch in the gut. And here's the part that really matters also. Almost nobody tells you this at the model home. So when the lender decides whether you even qualify for the loan, they don't use the discounted year 1 rate. They qualify you at the full note rate, the real one. So the rule with any temporary buy down rate is simple. You have to be able to comfortably afford the full rate payment in year 3, not the shiny year 1 payment. And just a side note, the reason for these rates, these programs initially was to allow somebody, say, moving into a new job, just getting into a new area where they may have a bunch of other costs, whether it's paying off different notes, loans, a number of things where they may need like a little ramp to build up to where they can shoulder the load of that full rate. So now the second kind of low rate is a permanent buy down. This is the good stuff. And this is where the builder actually pays to lower your rate for the entire 30 years of the loan. That's 4.99. If it's permanent, that's for the life of the loan, if that's the program that you're tied into. That's genuinely a valuable incentive. And on slow moving inventory, some builders offer exactly that. So when you see low rate advertised, the most important single question to ask is this rate permanent, or does it step up after a year or 2? Those 2 words, permanent or temporary, that's the whole ball game. Get the answer in writing. Now that being said, I still think there's a ton of value in the temporary rate buy downs because it gives you that running room. It's not nearly as valuable as the permanent rate buy down, but still valuable nonetheless. Now here's where it gets kind of interesting though, because the rate is only half the equation. To get most of these incentives, the builder is going to require you to use their preferred lender, their in-house mortgage company. And look, that's not automatically a bad thing. Sometimes their lender is competitive, works super hard, and does an amazing job. But you need to know that the incentive and the lender are a package deal, and that package can have its own costs. Sometimes those closing costs and fees through the builder's lender run higher than what you could potentially go out and shop for on your own. So the move here is not just to accept the builder's number. The move is to take their full offer, rate and fees and all, and have an outside lender price out the exact same loan with no incentive, so you can compare the true bottom line side by side. Sometimes the builder's deal wins. Sometimes an outside loan is slightly higher rate, but the fees may actually be less, so you may have a win with an outside lender in the long run. You don't know until you shop both of them together. Just don't get pressured into hurrying up and sign while you're at the model home and really excited about it. Take that extra day, reach out to a qualified lender, and run the numbers. It may still make perfect sense to go with them. To be honest with you, it often does. And the next part is kind of hidden in the weeds, is that $40,000 in free upgrades. It's rarely worth $40,000 to you. That number is the retail price at the design center, and design center pricing is notoriously jacked up. A $40,000 credit might get you maybe $25,000 of actual value once you account for the markup on the flooring and the countertops and the fixtures. It's still real money, don't get me wrong, but don't value it dollar for dollar in your head. So maybe another pro move would be ask if any of that upgrade credit can be directed toward your rate buy down or your closing costs instead. Sometimes you can move money around where it actually helps you the most. Sometimes you can't, but it's always worth asking. We don't ask, we don't get. That's what I like to say. So let's bring this all together, because I know it was a lot of information. So to boil it down, when you see that 4.99 and 40,000 in upgrades sign, here's what you do. First, find out if the rate is permanent or temporary. And if it's temporary, make sure that you're ready to shoulder the load of that full interest rate after it becomes your year 3 rate, for example. The second thing you do is understand the incentive money if it comes from the builder's budget, not the price. So there's often more room to negotiate than you think. Third, take the builder's lender offer and price it against an outside lender before you commit. And fourth, don't count those upgrade credits as dollar for dollar at full retail. And remember to ask them if you can move that around to where it would help you more. None of this means it's a bad deal. A lot of these Austin builder incentives in 2026 are genuinely strong and great deals. Some of the best we've seen in years, as a matter of fact. It just means that you should know exactly what you're getting into before you fall in love with the home, because my goodness, some of them are beautiful. So if you're looking for a new construction anywhere in the Austin area, specifically Leander, Liberty Hill, and you want someone to run the real math with you, take the builder's offer apart piece by piece, get you in touch with a lender that can give you a comparison, tell you honestly whether it's as good as it looks, then reach out to me. I do this with buyers every week, and having someone in your corner who represents you, not the builder, it doesn't cost you anything. That's what I'm here for. No pressure, just clarity. I'm Jeff Joseph in the Austin area. I'll see you on the next one.